The Chargers are brimming with good news, and this is definitely exciting. With the NFL draft just around the corner and the free agency period winding down, this is when teams start to gear up for the real challenges ahead. If the Chargers are already making waves with good news now, you can imagine how impactful it could be for the team moving forward. Let's break it down. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. So let's talk about the first big update. We finally have the contract details for the Chargers' new signing, offensive lineman Andre James. When he was signed, there were questions about the size of the deal and its potential impact. After all, players of his caliber usually come with a substantial price tag. Now that the numbers are out, you might be surprised at how affordable this signing actually turned out to be. Thanks to Over the Cap, we now know that James' contract is a one-year veteran minimum deal with a cap hit of just $1.17 million. That's right, just $1.17 million. This is a classic example of a low-risk, high-reward move, a hallmark of Jim Harbaugh and Joe Hortiz's approach. It's a strategic signing that really benefits the Chargers' roster and salary cap. For perspective, the team also brought back 31-year-old Bradley Bozeman this offseason with a $5 million cap charge in 2025. Meanwhile, James is only 28 years old, which adds even more value to this signing. Overall, this is a smart move for the Chargers and definitely a piece of good news for the team heading into the season. Now, shifting gears to another contract update, we've got the details on offensive lineman Mecky Beckton's deal. And honestly, it's the kind of thing that makes you wonder just how the Chargers managed to pull this off. Their negotiation game is on point, striking that perfect balance where both the team and the player come out winners. Let's dive into the specifics. Beckton's contract is a straightforward 2-year deal worth $20 million. According to Over the Cap, the structure is pretty clever. It includes a $7.3 million cap hit in 2025, which then escalates to $12.5 million in 2026. But here's the twist. There's zero guaranteed salary in 2026. That means if things don't pan out, cutting or trading him in 2026 would save the Chargers $10 million in cap space. Essentially, this is a classic prove-it deal, something general manager Joe Hortiz is known for. It's essentially a 1-year contract with a built-in option for a second year, giving the team plenty of flexibility. For both sides, it's a reasonable arrangement. Becton was once considered a first-round bust, but last year he made a big move by kicking inside to guard with Philadelphia. He had a breakout season, played a crucial role, and ended up winning a Super Bowl. That kind of momentum is hard to ignore, and pairing him with an emerging talent like Joe Alt on the Chargers' offensive line could set him up for continued success. But if things don't go as planned, the Chargers have wisely left themselves an out for 2026. It's a smart, calculated move that shows why this team is so adept at managing both talent and cap space. Another strong step forward for the Chargers as they gear up for what's ahead. Speaking of contracts, Pro Football Focus recently published an article featuring 20 NFL players expected to secure significant contract extensions soon. The list includes notable names like Brock Purdy, Kyle Hamilton, Sauce Gardner, and Aiden Hutchinson. Interestingly, only one Chargers player made the list, Rashawn Slater. Now, whether you view this as good or bad news might depend on perspective, but I definitely call it good news. Let me explain why. This highlights that the Chargers have young, rising talents who are primed for major deals in the future. At the same time, the team's cap situation remains very manageable, putting them in a strong position moving forward. Unlike teams like the Browns or the Saints, who frequently push their financial issues further down the road, the Chargers don't face those kinds of challenges. That's a significant advantage and a reflection of smart management. Now, focusing on Rashawn Slater, he absolutely deserves an extension. His stats speak volumes. Since 2022, he holds the 11th highest PFF overall grade among qualified tackles, and his 0.49 wins above replacement last year ranked 5th at the position. Having a player of his caliber on your roster is a huge asset, reinforcing the Chargers' reputation as a team with some of the top young talent in the league. Seeing Slater on this list is a testament to the team's potential while maintaining a healthy cap structure. A manageable cap paired with a proven roster? That's an enviable position for any team, and the Chargers are certainly making the most of it. Now let's move on to another piece of good news, the remaining free agents. Even though the draft is coming up, which offers a chance to address some key positions, drafting new players always comes with an element of risk. Not every drafted player develops into a reliable contributor because the NFL is a whole different level compared to college football. That's where free agency comes in. It's where you can get proven talent, or at the very least, players with a clear track record. You don't need to spend time developing them. Of course, free agency tends to cost more than the draft, but if a team is in win-now mode, it's often the better choice. For the Chargers, there's still some solid depth available at positions like cornerback and defensive end. The standout name here is Brandon Scherff, a guard. along with a few other interior offensive linemen still on the market. A smart strategy could be to utilize the draft first and then revisit free agency to fill any remaining gaps. With 11 draft picks in hand, the Chargers have the flexibility to execute this plan effectively. Knowing that there will still be quality options available post-draft puts them in a very strong position. Now, for the third piece of good news, mock drafts are predicting the Chargers could land Will Johnson, a cornerback out of Michigan. Johnson has frequently been rated as a top 10 prospect. While he may not quite crack the top 5, he's still considered an elite talent. If he falls to the Chargers, it would be a significant win. Johnson is the type of player who could make an immediate impact. While he might not be on Sauce Gardner's level just yet, he's close enough to draw comparisons, and that's high praise. Adding Johnson would give a huge boost to the defense and strengthen an already promising roster. Finally, there's been some buzz around potential boomer prospects, players worth taking a chance on. One name that stands out is Willie Lampkin, an offensive lineman from North Carolina who can play both center and guard. Lampkin might not fit the traditional mold due to his size, which could cause him to drop in the draft. But for a team like the Chargers, that could make him an absolute steal. Lampkin is a bit of an outlier when you look at measurements from the Senior Bowl. Most offensive linemen since 2010 have fallen within a specific height and weight range. Lampkin, on the other hand, is shorter and lighter, but plays with incredible tenacity. His tape shows him holding his own and even dominating against much bigger defenders. If he slips into the later rounds, possibly the 5th, 4th, or even 3rd, the Chargers could pick up a versatile and talented lineman. Lampkin has the potential to be a valuable depth piece or even a starter, making him a player to watch closely. That's the beauty of having so many picks. Players like Willie Lampkin might not be the biggest names in the draft, but when they slip through the cracks because of size or other factors, they become excellent opportunities. It's exciting to think about what a player like Lampkin could bring to the table, whether as a reliable backup or even a surprise contributor. This is exactly what makes the draft so unpredictable and thrilling. For the Chargers, holding these picks means they're in a position to take some calculated risks and potentially find hidden gems. Now, let's revisit the players who could be in the mix around that 22nd pick. One standout name is Jahdae Barron, a cornerback who's projected to go slightly ahead of Will Johnson. If Johnson gets taken earlier, Barron becomes a strong alternative. Then you have Malaki Starks. While he might not fill an immediate need, he's still an intriguing option. And let's not forget Omarion Hampton. He's an incredible talent and could realistically be available just before the Chargers pick in the 20s. Everyone seems focused on Ashton Genie, but Hampton is definitely a name that deserves attention. What makes this exciting is the sheer variety of talent the Chargers have to choose from. It's not just about finding a good player, it's about having options to pick from a cluster of great prospects. Brad Holmes, the GM of the Lions, recently talked about how drafting in the 20s year after year can actually be a sweet spot. You're not locked into the pressure of filling a specific position like in the top 10. Instead, you get the flexibility to choose from a group of players you genuinely feel good about. This point really resonates when you consider the value of mid to late first-round picks. The only significant advantage of picking in the top 10 is if you need a quarterback. Otherwise, moving down 10 spots from the top 10 doesn't diminish your chances of landing a talented player. With so much talent coming out of college football, being in the 20s still gives you a group of 5 or 6 players to choose from where you really can't go wrong. That's the kind of position the Chargers find themselves in. With their 11 draft picks, the Chargers have an incredible opportunity to reload and prepare for the future. Whether they stick with all their picks, trade up or down, or package some for other moves, they're in a strong position to make impactful decisions. The team's patience and measured approach over the past year have set the stage for success. Last offseason, the Chargers avoided rash decisions and big, splashy overspending. Instead, they allowed compensatory picks to roll in, stabilized their cap situation, and kept things sustainable. That patience paid off, as the team still managed to reach the playoffs. A remarkable achievement for a team building with long-term success in mind. So, when you look at where the Chargers are now, it's clear they've set themselves up for another productive year. This draft is shaping up to be a pivotal moment, and it feels like they're poised to make a big leap forward. Let's see how it all unfolds. So, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section.